The way that we work, we have the associate editor basically synthesize, right? You get all the reviews, you get all 3 reviews, but then you also get the AE's input, and he or she will identify the sort of common themes across the reviews, might point out that one person said this and will then weigh in, only one person said this, but this is really important, or only one person said this, you know, I'm mixed about it. We're curious to see what you think, right? So, you know, I would say read what the AE says very carefully for AEQ, because that will give you a lot of hints as to what we think as a journal are the most important things. Having said that, you know, we ask that authors write a letter where you actually outline what changes you've made in response to the feedback, right? As well as what changes you have declined to make, and then really provide a justification, right? So if there's something that you feel really changes where you want to go with the piece in fundamental ways, right? You're not required to make that, but you have to sort of justify why you're not making that change. And then, of course, it's then up to reviewers and the AE and the editors to determine whether or not your argument is sound and we buy it, or whether or not we don't. Right, so I guess the easy answer is no, you don't have to make every change, but you do have to justify. But just justifying doesn't guarantee that we will agree with you. But I think it's your opportunity to make an argument. And we try to take that, you know, look at that really carefully and take that seriously.
No, you don't have to make every change reviewers request. But if you choose not to make those changes, you need to justify in your response why you didn't. Because presumably the reviewer had a reason for suggesting that change. And if you don't think it's appropriate or takes the article in a direction you didn't intend, which does happen, occasionally reviewers will request you write a different piece, even though that's not your intent. So it's okay to push back politely. But you need to explain why you didn't make that change, or why you adopted part of a change, for example, and then moved on. When reviewers disagree with one another, again, you kind of have to try to finesse it. And again, in your response, explain why you went one direction as another versus another. I, as the editor, always read the reviews, and if I find a major discrepancy, I will highlight that for the author so that they understand that that's in there. And sort of a related thing is you get one reviewer says accept, the other says major revisions. And so, you know, I try to help the authors thread that space. But again, I think the key point is that authors explain why they did A versus B.
When authors do write and ask me, you know, how should I address these contradictory comments, I always tell them that your response should really be addressed to me, not to reviewers, that the revision may not even go to the same reviewers. Often when at the time that a reviewer submits their review, they're asked, are you willing to review another round of this one? And a lot of people say no because they don't have time. And even people who say yes at that point often will later say no when they are asked to review a revision. So it's quite possible that a revised piece will go to totally different readers. So I think it's a mistake to try to exactly please the particular reviewers that have seen a particular draft. Instead, I think authors should take this as just advice from experts in the field on how to improve their work. And ultimately, it's up to the author to decide which advice they agree with and that they think will improve the piece, and which advice maybe they don't think will improve the piece, or maybe they don't have the time or space to address in this particular piece, but will save for something else that they're working on. So what's really important is their letter to the editor explaining those decisions that they made and being as specific as possible as to how they improved the piece using the advice they were given, and if they chose not to address any particular advice, why they made that decision.